there for you if you want it. Okay? It's all in your subconscious. Today, on the live, I'm Junior from Here For You Life Coaching, and we're going to talk about abundance and how it is your birthright. Okay? So, abundance is actually your default because your default energy, okay, is love energy. You were born of love, from love. So the idea that love is over here at the highest vibration and fear is over here at the lowest vibration actually means something in your life, okay? So when you go towards fear, when you cross that 50 percentile from love, all the way down, you get in the middle, okay? So the first negative emotion is worry. Okay, now the first positive emotion is satisfaction at the 50 percentile. Then when you move down, eventually you get down to fear. Now, when you're in fear, you're living in lack. Okay, when you're in fear, you're living in less than. Okay, but when you're living in love, okay, that's when you're full. That's when your emotions are high. That's when things are working. That's when things are going well. Okay, and then, of course, things are out there that will scare you and move you down this way. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the idea that abundance is everyone's birthright, and it comes from the understanding that the universe itself is abundant. Okay, so you know how people say that things are running out, and good morning, Lisa, good morning, guys, Sanju, good morning, Darlene, good morning. So you know how people like to project scarcity on you. Okay, and part of this is commerce. So you have to understand. You have to put it in its context. You have to look at it objectively, right? So like, how do they mean this? Good morning, Darlene. Nice to see you. Hi, Megan. So like, how do they? Why do people do this? Well, it's commerce. So if something is scarce, you want to go out and grab it. Okay, if it's a limited edition, if there's only a few of them, you want to go and buy it. Why? Because you got to get it while supplies last, right? So we start to live that way. Okay, we start to project it. Okay, we start to live in. Oh, thank you, Darlene. I appreciate it. Hi, Adeline. Good morning. So anyway, so when you start to live like this, though, when you start to think like this, okay, because remember, the subconscious learns in repetition. So when this starts to happen, right, you start to incorporate this into your habits. Okay, now nature produces more than enough, like billions of seeds from a single tree. Okay, minerals. Okay, so when you start strip mining and stuff, you find a lot of minerals. Well, minerals get put back into the earth as well. Okay, so those things are regenerative. Okay, so it's not just like, okay, there's a certain amount of aluminum and that's it. No, there's more, and more will be created. More is created. If you ever read the book, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, he explains that in his book. So that's a good old school book to get. Good morning, Mike. And so now energy is also infinite. Okay, it transforms. Right? We talk about energy transmutation, but it never disappears. Human potential is limitless. Okay, I talked about this a few days ago. And I was saying that, ever since I've been alive, right, during the Summer Olympics, the human being goes just a little faster. Now, how is that possible? I've been alive for a while, okay, and I've seen these things. Every 4 years, the human being gets better. So where do we draw that line? Where do we say, okay, this is it? This is the extent of the human being's potential. That's it. No more. We have not gotten there. So what does that really tell us? That really sends the message that we are infinite beings, infinite potential, unlimited potential. Okay, so again, abundance is your birthright. Okay, now when you try something or you exert energy or place energy or focus into something, it multiplies. Okay, so every person is born with unique talents and possibilities. Meaning that if the rubbish man doesn't come and pick up the rubbish, right, in about 1 week or 2 weeks, you're going to worship him. Okay, so everyone has value. It's not just the professionals in life, it's everyone. The guy who, picks up the leaves at the park. I mean, everybody has a role to play. in society, and we're all important in our own way. Okay? But from this perspective, okay, with lack and abundance, lack versus abundance, limitation, lack and limitation are not natural. So it's not natural to be poor. Okay? If you're poor, so Ralph Waldo Emerson, right? He said, poverty consists of feeling poor. Why is that? Because when you feel poor, now you're adding emotion to it. You're feeling poor. Okay, that's an emotion. Thank you. And that's an emotion. So how do you manifest things? Well, intention, emotion. When you marry intention with emotion, okay, that's manifestation. You bring it into the world. Okay, so some people wear poverty as a badge. I've worked with people like that. They come from poverty, right? And they make a name for themselves, or they get ahead in life, but then they always bring the poverty with them. Okay? Now you have to understand that this is a state of mind. This is a subconscious state of mind, right? So they will bring this idea with them, and they will revisit this idea. The idea that, well, we grew up poor, we grew up poor, we grew up poor. Okay. And they wear it as a badge of honor. And I get it, right? You grow up poor, you be successful, and then you're constantly reminding people that you're poor so that you can illustrate the exhortation of energy that it took to get you where you are. Okay, I get it. But if you're doing that, you're bringing the poverty from the past into the present. And most of these people, the way they live, okay, is a reflection of the housing, of the poverty, of the whatever it was in their childhood. Okay, because this is subconscious. So, it's sort of like you can take a poor person, okay, so poverty consists of feeling poor, okay, poor person, and then give them the best house, give them the best car, give them the best yard, give them the best everything. And in no time, it will start looking like the housing again. Why? Because the habits haven't changed. The mindset hasn't changed. Okay, now this is mindset. So I learned this at a very, very young age. I was in 4th grade. And I remember my mom took me past this housing development. And, she took me, she wanted to make a point. So she drove me by this place, right? And she said, do you see this place? Do you see the screens are ripped? Do you see the cars are out on blocks out in front of the houses? You see what a mess this is? And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, and the reason she took me was we were in the store, okay? And she just did this like on the spur of the moment. But we were in the store, and this lady was in front of us, and she was using food stamps. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, can we help this lady? She has food stamps. Can we give her some money or whatever, or pay for her groceries, help her, And my mom's like, shh, just maintain, right? And then she did this. Okay, so we got outside, we got in the car. She took me to the housing. She said, you see the condition that this place is in? And I'm like, yeah. She said, if we gave them a brand new house, brand new car, brand new things, brand new clothes, brand new shoes, she said, in 1 year, it would look just like this. Okay. And at the time, I was in 4th grade, right? I had to process all of this. At the time, I wasn't really sure exactly what she meant. Of course, now I know what she meant, right? And it's because this is a mindset. Poverty is a mindset. So when you have a poverty mindset, it doesn't matter if you live in the housing or in a brand new mansion. Okay, the mansion will end up looking like the housing because it's a mindset. Now, what's an abundance mindset? Well, in an abundance mindset, gratitude is very important. Gratitude is one of the keys of an abundance mindset. Why? Because when you're grateful, you take care of things. When you're grateful, you appreciate things. When you're grateful, right, you give gratitude for things. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that, things are the only thing that you're grateful for. Of course, you're grateful. When I get up in the morning and I'm in the shower, I'm well aware that the majority of the people on the planet do not have hot running water. The majority. That's a lot of people out of 8 billion. Okay. The majority. So I express gratitude for the hot water. I express gratitude for the shower. I express gratitude for the soap. Like all these little things, okay? And this is where gratitude needs to start. It needs to start for the little things that we take for granted. The small things, you know, having food, having soap, having, hot running water, that kind of thing, having a shower, you know, but these little things, right? You can start with these little things, and they lead up to an abundance mindset because you're grateful, because you're thankful, because you don't take things for granted. Now, when you take things for granted, right? You end up right with things that maybe are in disrepair. Okay, if your mindset doesn't change. Okay, if your mindset doesn't change, nothing gets better because it's subconscious. So there's the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Okay, the conscious mind makes the decision. Okay, gives you the topic. So if the topic is poor, okay, that goes into your subconscious. We're poor. We can't afford that. That's not us. Those are for rich people. That kind of thing, right? And you also are resentful towards rich people, right? Because, well, they have money, they must be doing something crooked, right? They must be doing something wrong. Like, that's not normal, right? Well, actually, that kind of thinking keeps you over here. Okay, so the 50 percentile is here, fear is all the way down here, okay? But between fear and the 50 percentile, right before it crosses over into positivity, is where you are. If you think like that, okay? Now, sometimes you have to pretend a little bit, okay? You have to pretend that, you have a positive mindset to get into a positive mindset, okay? But the role of the subconscious mind is like, so it's like a garden, okay? And these positive thoughts that you're planting are like seeds, and they need to grow. They need to be watered. They need to be fertilized, okay? In the beginning, it's going to feel a little weird, okay? So affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. So affirmation, I am so happy and grateful now that, what? I have a nice house. Thank you. Okay, now maybe your house is not the best. Maybe it's old. Maybe it's 60 years old, 70 years old. Those houses are all over the place now, right? Okay. But by you writing that and going into your subconscious, and by you appreciating what you have, eventually you get something better. Okay, I can't tell you precisely how gratitude works, but I can tell you, since I've been doing it since 2007, since I've been doing a gratitude practice every day, and I have different ones that I do. Okay, one of them is affirmations. So let me show you what that looks like. So I have one that I finished right here. So these are affirmations. This is not journaling. Okay, these are affirmations. Okay, I know it looks a little crazy, right? It looks crazy. Like I had this client, this young boy, and he's in his 20s, and he goes, "Wow, Uncle, that's crazy." Like he looked at that, right? And he goes, "You do that every day?" I go, "Yeah, I do that every day because I'm telling my subconscious what I want. I'm telling my subconscious what I want it to do, how I want it to think. I'm keeping my subconscious in a certain mindset." Okay, thank you. Good morning, Manuel. Good morning, guys. When you control your mindset, or when you construct your mindset, you can design your life with one of these. There's a reason why they say the pen is mightier than the sword. Okay, so let's say you want your own business. Okay, start writing about it. I am so happy and grateful now that I have my own business. Okay, what kind of business do you want? Start writing about it. Okay, write it out. So here's a tip I'm going to give you. It's called automatic writing. You can look this up. This is not anything other than subconscious. Okay, it's not demonic. It's not demons. It's not any of that. It's your Since you were born, the thing you, everything you smell, everything you taste, everything you see, everything you hear, it's all a part of your subconscious. So you want answers, okay? Now just imagine that you're a computer. So the conscious mind is your operating system. The subconscious mind is where you store the programs. That's your hard drive. Okay, the superconscious is the network that we're all plugged into. Okay, we are all awareness in here. You're not your body, you're not your name, you're the energy that lives in here. Okay, there's a separation between body and spirit. This is the spirit in here. Okay, but what you do is just get your hand nice and relaxed on a table with your legal pad or writing pad, okay, and start asking yourself questions. But as you ask the questions, write them out like you're talking to yourself, but write it out. So like, what is my purpose? Why, or what is my purpose? What kind of business should I create or get into? Or what field should I get into? What field of study should I get into? All of those things. You can write any of that and then write the answer. So the answer is going to be the first thing you think about. Write it out. Just write it out. Okay? It's going to feel weird because like you're writing out questions, then you're writing out answers, then you're writing out questions, and then question the answer. And then write that out. Now pretty soon what you're gonna feel is you're just gonna feel your hands start going, because you're just going to get information. The flow of information will start and you just write out that flow. Okay? And when you're done, when you're tired, you're going to get tired at a certain point and you'll stop. And when you stop, go back and read everything. And you'll be amazed at what you see. Now, this is subconscious writing. It's called automatic writing. It's not demonic. It's not anything like, it's your subconscious. So in other words, all these things are in here, but subconscious means below the surface. Okay, subconscious is below the surface, so you can't access it like your conscious mind can access stuff. Okay, you have to really think about it. So meditation is how you really think about it, because you have to be really still and then you can access these thoughts. Now in meditation, just ask the question. Ask the question, what should I do about this job offer that I had? And go in meditation, close your eyes. You're going to experience this expansiveness. Now this expansiveness, whatever you want to call it, okay? But I can't tell you what it is, but I can tell you what it's not. It's not anything with a label on it. It's not anything that you can label. It's not like the physical world, okay? It's not like the physical world where you could put labels on things. You can't say like, okay, this is that, this is that. Like, you won't be able to do that. But you're going to feel this expansiveness. Because when you're still, you can feel these things rather than just see them or witness them, right? In the Holy Bible, when it says seek and ye shall find, okay, it's talking about seeking in here. It's not talking about walking down the street and, knocking the door shall open. Doesn't talk about it. That doesn't mean knock on your neighbor's door and the door will open. It means you knock on the door in here and it will open. So you ask, believe, receive. So for you Christians, Mark 11:24. Okay, ask, believe, receive. When you ask and you believe in your asking, you shall receive. What's the most important thing to ask for? It's not the car. It's not the house. It's the knowledge. Because you were born with infinite knowledge. But unless you're meditating, unless you close your distractors like this, okay, and go into the kingdom, Jesus Christ said the kingdom is in here. The kingdom is within. It's not out there. There's no out there. The only thing out there is nature and things from someone else's in here, from someone else's kingdom. So when you seek in here. When you knock on the door, you knock on the door in here. What door are you knocking on? Well, the superconscious, whoever you believe. Whoever you believe is that, or whatever that represents to you in your life. But the superconscious is where we get intuitive thought from, intuitive guidance. You get intuitive guidance. I use the same analogy because it's easy to understand. You're driving down the road, you get that feeling to turn right. But because you have a conscious mind, and the conscious mind can make a decision, okay? The subconscious operates on autopilot. That's your autopilot, okay? But your conscious mind, okay, the ego is associated with the conscious mind. The conscious mind says, no, that's okay. I'm going to go down the road. And then you dismiss that. So you dismiss the intuitive thought. You go down the road further and you get in a traffic jam and, you get stalled and you have to wait. What do you say to yourself? You say, I knew I should have turned over there. Because you did know. You really did know. You got that instruction. You got those messages. God speaks to you all the time. Constantly. Okay? In your thoughts. Now, when you get that, let's call it a divine instruction. Let's call it that. When you get divine instruction, pay attention to it. Pay more attention to it. Most of us dismiss those things. Why? Because we don't trust our decisions. You need to trust your decisions. And the way you get to trust it is you follow it, it works out. Okay? Follow it, it works out. Follow it, it works out. Now you have, now you have a string of them, right? That worked out. Okay, it's almost like having a paper trail, but there's no paper, right? But now you have proof. You have this, oh yeah, every time I listen to that sixth sense or whatever you want to call it, right? And there's a reason why in women we call it women's intuition. Okay, women have a very strong intuition. Why is that? Because they're engineered to bear young. They have to take care of babies. Okay, so their intuition is sharper, much sharper. You ever walk into a place and you have a woman with you and she goes, I got a funny feeling about this place, and then something happens, right? It's because she knows and tell you who the creep is. That's the voice. This is where we plant conscious. Okay. I don't want to go over the same list again, but it's all over the Bible. As a man thinketh, so is he. Right? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. What's the heart in that verse? It's talking about your subconscious. Because the subconscious learns in repetition. So if you have a character trait, it's going into your subconscious. What does that mean? That just means you did something over and over. Okay? You have a pattern of doing something over and over. Now it goes into your subconscious. Okay? Then it becomes a program. Then it's the way that you react to things. Then it's the way that you behave. Then it's the way that you do stuff. Now, can you change it? Or are you stuck with that? No, you can change it. Affirmations, meditation, focalization, visualization. Okay? You can't change the whole program. You can't wipe your subconscious clean and start all over. Okay? I wish we could do that, right? That would give us an edge for certain things. But no, but you can reconstruct, or let's say you can reinstall 10 to 15% of it. Nobody's really sure on the exact percentage. But when you install or reinstall, let's say you incorporate some new beliefs into your subconscious, it only takes a little bit to change your life. Okay? So let's look at the 50 percentile, and this is positive and this is negative. In order to live a life that's the majority positive, you just need to push this over the line 1%. And now you have 51% positive. Well, that's a majority. Now the majority of your life will be positive. And all it took was that 1%. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to try to do 80%. That's really hard. 80%? 80% good? Ooh, big job. 90% unrealistic. Yet when I do my intakes with my clients, right, one of the first things I ask them is like, okay, like how much of your life would you consider that you do that's positive? What's the percentage? And I get like, oh, maybe 85%, 90%. And I'm like, whoa, like I'm thinking like, boy, you don't know the kind of work you're talking about. That's almost saintly, you know. That's almost a saint right there. Because we have what I call the windshield wiper syndrome. Okay. We have good thoughts, bad thoughts, good thoughts, bad thoughts. Thoughts become things. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. If you keep thinking a thought over and over again, or if somebody else has you thinking a thought over and over again, it will become a belief. You're going to believe it. And this is why gaslighting is so dangerous. Okay, because if a person can gaslight you and actually make you believe what they're trying to inflict upon you in thought, they create new beliefs in you. Okay, now if you look at the subconscious tree, right, the beliefs are the roots of the tree, your subconscious core beliefs. They form your paradigm. The paradigm is the trunk of the tree. So now you have the roots, those are your beliefs, forms your paradigm, the way you see things, and then your actions. And those actions get results. A certain way, can I just get a result like that and just do a deliberate action? And I'm like, yeah, of course. But if you want permanent change, if you want consistent change, it takes consistency with your subconscious. So your subconscious can actually pull you back to the old paradigm if you don't do the maintenance. So this is the maintenance that I'm showing you guys here. Okay, so this is I know it looks crazy, but these are affirmations. But this is maintenance. This is telling your subconscious, hey, we're working on this, remember? We're doing this, remember? We're behaving this way, remember? You know, and it's just as simple as I am so happy and grateful now that I see things like whatever. Just write it out, whatever it is, whatever the target is. Okay, if the target is money, maybe it is, you know, something like money comes easily, plentifully, and quickly, thank you. But you need to remind your subconscious. Okay, so your attitude about things, you know, people always say that, right? You hear people saying like, oh, it's your attitude that makes a difference. And sometimes we just think it's our attitude that makes a difference with others and the way that they react to us. But your attitude is important to your subconscious because your subconscious will memorize it. Your subconscious will become it. Okay, that's why thoughts become things, because, you know, as a man thinketh in his heart, or woman, right, in his heart, so is he or so is she, because thoughts become things. First you think it, then you do it. If you do it enough, you become it, and it becomes a regular part of your actions. So the subconscious can teach you how to be generous. The subconscious can teach you how to be sassy. The subconscious can teach you how to be sincere. The subconscious can teach you how to be loving. Okay, the subconscious can teach you how to be angry. It just depends. Okay, so there's no I'm not here to provide any moral judgments or anything. You do what you want. Okay, now some people enjoy drama. They enjoy because there's a lot of action involved, right? So they like drama, so they do drama. I'm not here saying drama is bad. I'm just saying it is what it is, either way. So if you're not happy with what's going on, you know, and some people are dealing with boredom, right? So they want to spice it up. They want to do something. So, okay. But just understand that whatever results that you're getting, it's based upon the way you believe. So if you're not happy with the results that you're getting, the question should be, what do I believe that's causing these results? Because what I believe, right, in the roots, okay, is influencing the way I see the world over here, the trunk of the tree. And the way I see the world is causing me to act like this, actions. And then the actions up here, right, are getting me the results. So it's not necessarily good or bad. It is what it is. But if the results are good, keep doing what you're doing. If the results are bad, just know you can change it. How do you change it? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Okay. Now, among the strongest for your subconscious, okay, if you guys want hacks that you can do real fast, okay, visuals, audio. Those are the two. Those are the two fastest changes that you can make for your subconscious. It influences your subconscious very quickly. Okay, visuals. So your image in a mirror, that's one of them. Okay, vision boards. So this, right now I have my next lease over here. Anything for granted. So I do this process with everything. It doesn't matter what it is. Okay, so it just matters what the goal is for you. You have to have a goal. You have to have a target. Now, a lot of people go about life aimlessly. Okay, that's like saying I don't have a rudder on my boat, so my boat's going like this, and whatever happens, happens, and whatever happens, I got to deal with it, and like that, right? But if you plan things, if you have goals, and you take steps towards your goals, you don't have to know how. The how is God's job. Then you have a rudder on the boat, and the boat will either go here, it will go here, wherever you want it to go. It'll go there, it'll go there, okay? But it's important that you pursue goals, because when you take the steps towards goals, the superconscious, or God, or universe, or source, however you believe, I'm not here to tell you what to believe, will start to open the doors for you. You'll start to meet the right people. When's the last time that happened for you? Okay, maybe this question is better. When's the last time you were thinking about one of your friends? And you're thinking about him, you haven't seen him for a while, thinking about him, and then you run into him in the mall. Coincidence or superconscious? So the first of the universal laws, okay, is the universal law of oneness, which says that we are all of one consciousness. We are all of one awareness. We are all one. But that's what they're talking about, because that's what we share in. We share in that awareness. Because the kingdom is within. It's not out there. We're not participating with something out there in unison with everybody else, or in connection with everybody else. The connection is in here. The connection is in you. The word namaste that you hear people use, okay, the word namaste says the divinity in me, okay, because God lives in here, okay, the divinity in me salutes the divinity in you, or acknowledges the divinity in you. Okay, the God part of me acknowledges the God part of you. And it's an acknowledgement because whatever you call this, okay, you're not your body, you're not your name, you've been assigned those things. You're that energy that lives in here. So I work from energy. And energetically, when you look at life energetically like that, things change. Meanings change. A lot of things change. Okay? Because you can be in the world and not of the world. You can be in the system and not of the system. You can be in the matrix but not of the matrix. You can flourish within a system. You can flourish within a matrix. You can flourish within anything. But it starts in here. Whatever you believe in here, or whatever you believe in here gets translated out here. So however you believe in here, however you think in here, whatever it is in here will be reflected out here. And that's the universal law of correspondence. So the universal law of correspondence tells us, as above, so below, as within, so without. So that's why we always say, if your desk is messy out here in your office, if your desk is out of order, you're out of order in here. Okay, if things look scattered, right, out here, it's because things are scattered in here. When you clean this one up, when you adjust this, you adjust this. You want to fix your relationship? Work on it in here, not out here, not with the other person out here like this. You work on it in here first. Okay, we have a question. Virgo Steen Queen. All of you listen, so a lot of you will learn what is means all that he's been telling you, so we don't do bad. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Listen him so no one will do betrayed. Yeah, I understand. Thank you, Virgo. Thank you. So whatever you know, the reason why whatever you do comes back, that karma thingy, okay? People talk about it as karma. We're not going to get too deep into that because it gets very technical. But the reason why what goes around comes around is your subconscious. So let's say that, you know, you curse somebody or you swear at somebody or you say unkind things to someone. It gets recorded in your subconscious. Your subconscious is the book of life. So when you're saying something to somebody that's bad, right, it affects you. So you can be that kind of person that strikes out at other people. But then you wonder why you have a lack of self-confidence. You wonder why your self-esteem is low. Or let's say not as good as it should be. Why? Because what goes around comes around. Can you elaborate about meditation with manifestation? Sure, absolutely. Hi, Wolf Dog. Wolf to Wolf Dog. Sure. So meditation and manifestation. So manifestation is like whatever you do, okay? Every action has a consequence, or let's say a result. When you say consequence, it always sounds like something negative. It doesn't have to be negative. But let's just say that every action has a result. Now, in meditation, what meditation does is it allows the slate to clear. Okay, meditation is a clearing. It's an energetic settling. It's also an increased awareness. It increases your awareness. So, you know, like I always say like this as a visual, okay? This is what awareness would look like in somebody that's really stressed or somebody that's really, let's say, a high pressure job, goes through a lot of pressure, has a lot of stress, has a lot of drama. Okay, awareness is like this. Now, if you take away the stress, if you take away the drama, if you take away all that pressure, awareness begins to go like this. It begins to expand. When you add stress and pressure, awareness contracts. Okay? And that's why a lot of people don't really benefit from their intuitive feelings. It's because they're too numb from all this stuff that's projected onto them. But when you're in meditation, the vibrations stop. It's a vibrational break because now you're settled. You close your distractor, so now you're not being drawn into any other reality, and you're just quiet. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to chant. You don't have to do any of that. You just have to be. That's all. It's about be time. And when you are just in your meditation, when you are just in your stillness, it sharpens that voice of intuition or that feeling of intuition that you get. And that's what brings your manifestation. Because then you're clear on your directions on what you should do to achieve it. So, good morning, Jay. So, you know, meditation is very important. Meditation is listening to God. Praying is speaking to God. Praying is asking. Prayer, intentions, okay? All of those things. Wishing, that's another one. You're asking. When you wish, you're asking. I wish I had this. I wish this was this way. I wish. When you're praying, God, please help me with this. I need to do this. I need to accomplish this or whatever. Okay, that's prayer. Intentions. I am so happy and grateful now that I have an extra $100 this month for bills, whatever. whatever it is. But this all works through your subconscious. And when you clear, okay, Hawaiian Ho'oponopono is very, I'm getting there, Jay, is very important to clear. Because when you clear, the messages you receive in your meditation are stronger. That intuitive voice that you get through your meditation is stronger. Meditation is your channel to receive. I used to work in a very toxic work environment, very toxic, with huge egos. Okay, everybody had an ego. Me, everybody. We're all, and the egos all clashed like that. And after 4 hours of that kind of work, I used to go back to my office and I used to sit in my chair and I used to meditate because I had to shake it off. I had to do other things. I had to develop people. I had to see my clients. So I had to just literally shake it off. And I would go into my meditation. Now, for meditation, we have thank you guys. Thank you for being nice to Jay. She works really hard for us. So, in your meditation, it's important to ask questions. When you're receiving instruction, you can ask questions. You will intuitively receive the answers. The reason why people think that they don't get answers from God or answers from the divine or source, however you believe, is because they in meditation, I was asking, should we do this? And the answer was yes. Now, if I wasn't used to doing meditation, I wouldn't really feel it all that sharply. So the more you do your meditation, the more you practice stillness, the stronger the feeling, the more immediate the feeling, and pretty soon you can just ask. I know a lot of people like that. And I asked them. And you go, oh yeah, I pray to Jesus every day. And Jesus gives me the answer. They're not hearing the voice of Jesus. They're feeling Jesus intuitively. The intuition is coming through. So whoever it is that you believe in, or whatever it is that you believe in, however you believe, that intuition will be stronger. And if you listen to that voice, just know that that's the guidance that you need. Trust that guidance. But this all happens through your subconscious. None of this is magic. When you hear people talk about, oh, I manifested this car, I manifested that. What does that really mean? Well, they probably wrote about it. They probably spoke about it. They probably thought about it. They probably meditated on it, right? And these things accelerate it. And it comes into being. Did it magically appear in the driveway? No. You got to go down to the showroom, right? You got to talk to the salesperson, But then you're going to find things that you can't explain. Like all of a sudden the money showed up for the down payment. All of a sudden this happened. All of a sudden that happened. And then it becomes possible. So when I was walking through the car lot, the guy showed me used cars. He said, do you see anything you like here? And inside I was like, okay, God, what do I do? And the feeling was say no. And I said, no. He goes, you want to see new cars inside? And my question, right, to God was, do I want to go inside and I felt yes. So I said yes. And we went inside, and the rest, as they say, is history. But check in like that. Check in. You know, there's an old expression. It says, draw nigh to God, and God will draw nigh unto you. That means close. Okay, stay close to God, and God will stay close to you. And you'd be surprised how you get protected. You will be surprised on how this happens. So a lot of people just need to pay attention more. And when you pay attention more, you will start to feel the difference. And when you feel the difference, and you start, taking this advice that you feel, things will change. Okay. So first of all, that's affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. So get yourself some visuals. Make a vision board. A vision board are just images pertaining to what your goals are. Is your goal to be a nurse and work in a hospital? Get some pictures of a hospital. Get some pictures of nurses in a hospital. Make a vision board with that. Okay. When you do that, you'll see the difference, and you'll see these things start to unfold in your life. But this is not because it's a magic spell. This is because you're looking at a picture that reminds you of the goal. And this starts to make it real for your subconscious. When you write an affirmation, it goes directly into your subconscious. I am so happy and grateful now that I am confident. Thank you. Try that. You're going to feel a shift in 2 weeks. It takes 63 days to change a habit. 63 days. In 2 weeks, you're going to feel the difference. In 63 days, it will become a reality. In other words, in 63 days, you're going to feel confident. But confidence needs reinforcing, right? So you want to keep writing it, or at least write it every once in a while to remind yourself. Okay, because the subconscious tends to go back to the old programs. Okay, you see these guys, they quit smoking for a little while, right? They go a few months or maybe a year or a couple of years, and then they smoke again. Okay, habits go back again. So it's like that garden we were talking about. You plant the seeds, right? You have to water the seeds, fertilize the seeds, but you also have to weed the garden. You have to take the rubbish out. Okay? You have to keep the garden clean. So it's very important to maintain or provide maintenance to your subconscious. Do things conducive, okay? Do things conducive to your development. That's exactly what it is, Darlene. Yep. You don't really, well, the self quiets automatically, but you do hear your knowing, because you do know. You were born with infinite intelligence, but it's the accumulation of everything in your subconscious, all your senses, and all that data, if you want to call it data, information. From when you're born until till now, you've been collecting information. Everything you hear, everything you read, everything you see, everything. And this is why online too, right? You can't unsee things. So you're taking a lot of information that you're not even aware of because it's in your subconscious, and that's why they call it subconscious. It runs in the background, or let's say underneath, below. Okay, subconscious. It runs below your conscious mind. The good part about the subconscious is that you can program it, and then it's on autopilot. Okay, but like I said, you need to keep, reiterating things to your subconscious. And that's important to do. So, does anybody have any questions, Darlene? Do you guys have questions? You can put up some questions. I'm here for a few more minutes. So we're here every morning at 7 a.m. Hawaii time. I'm in Hawaii. I'm in Honolulu, Hawaii, and we'd like to welcome all of you on our international network over here, as well as we have a couple of Facebook pages going, and we have TikTok over here. What is a good money affirmation? Um, be specific with a money affirmation. So I am so happy and grateful now that I have, and then whatever the target is, $100, $500, but make it realistic. So yeah. So Wolf Dog, what I had to do is I had to start small. So everything starts small. Okay. Everything starts small and grows. So start small, start with $20. Start experimenting. Oh, thank you, Darlene. Thank you. So I try to be thorough because then you can promote the learning faster. But start small. Start with $20, then go $50, then go $100. Monkey's mom. Yes, what did you say about mirror work? Well, what I was saying about mirror work, anyway, so yeah, Wolf Dog, start small and then increase. So what I said about mirror work was the subconscious responds to imagery, visions, right, or visuals, and it responds to audio, and it responds to your image and your voice over everyone else. My business growth essentially. Yeah, you can do that. I am so happy and grateful now that my business is flourishing. Thank you. That would be a good that would be a good one. I am so happy and grateful now that my business is flourishing. Thank you. You can write a specific amount now that my business has brought in $10,000 a month, something like that. Monkey's mom. So, oh yeah, so the mirror, I'm sorry. So when you speak kindly or lovingly or gently into a mirror about yourself, or you give yourself instructions or give yourself compliments, tell yourself what you did that was good, acknowledge those things in a mirror. When you do that, it's very strong in your subconscious because your subconscious recognizes you over everyone else, and your voice. So when you speak into a mirror and you look yourself in the eye in the mirror, it's very effective. You're very welcome, Wolf Dog. Very welcome. Ava, good morning. So yeah, people think that that's strange, okay? But hey, wherever you go, there you are. You might as well be your friend. You might as well love what you see in the mirror. Okay, and I don't mean vanity. I'm not talking about vanity. I'm not talking about being vain. I'm talking about acceptance. A lot of people can't face themselves in a mirror, or they look in the mirror and they don't like what they see. Okay, I don't like all this white hair. It was Jay's idea for me to let my hair go white, right? And I'm like, well, now when I look in the mirror, I see this old guy, Like I used to never see that guy because I used to dye my hair. Okay, you struggle with correct wording. Push the affirmation forward with words. Yeah, Maxine, there you go. Love on yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. Brad Webster, please explain how this ties in with our electrical energy, vibration, and frequency levels. So your frequency are actually frequencies of emotion. Okay, it's not like science where you have resonant frequencies, like where you take two tuning forks and you hit one, the other one resonates because it's resonating with each other. It's not like that. Your frequency is in reference to your emotions. So high frequency emotions, are all the way up to love. Love goes all the way down. I have a chart here. Let me reference the chart really quick. I have like a minute before I got to get going. But I don't have a client until 9 a.m., so maybe I can go over this for you. So the emotional frequencies, let me go back. Yeah, become your own best friend. There you go, Ara. You have to. If you don't, nobody else will. So you gotta do that first. Okay, so the emotional frequencies, Brad Webster. So love is at the highest frequency. So it's love, peace, gratitude, joy, passion, excitement, enthusiasm, hope, and then satisfaction is the least of the positive emotions. Now, when you go, from the first negative emotion all the way down, it starts at worry, irritation, disappointment, criticism, anger, hate, boredom, envy, despair, grief, guilt, shame, and fear at the very bottom. So, so the electrical energy is not necessarily like it is in science. I mean, we're electromagnets basically. Okay, so you do have a charge, you do have a frequency, but more important, the emotions are what you really want to focus on as far as vibration. Because when you're around happy people, when you have people that are not happy, they don't last around happy people because happy people don't want to be dragged down, right? Basically, so you will gravitate to other happy people. Like attracts like. But when they're talking about like attracts like, they're talking about emotional frequencies. In humans, it's emotional frequencies. Ask me more questions because well, actually, maybe I have time for one more. Uh, yeah, yeah, you're very welcome. People are unaware of the. This is the last thing I want to say. Jay's kicking me off already. You're very welcome, Darlene. Yeah, so the last thing I want to say about your subconscious is that your subconscious is responsible for manifestation. Your subconscious is responsible for a lot of things. Your subconscious is the book of life. You've heard of the book of life. Everything is written in the book of life. It's written in your book. Okay? And you have a book. Okay? And this is your subconscious is a record of all of those things. And the things you do most often, the things you think about most often, start to replay itself from the subconscious. So if you have habits or you develop a bad habit, just know that it's just as easy to develop a good habit. Okay? So you would like the list of emotions? Yeah, sure, Monkey's mom. Just write to me. Go ahead, message me, and I'll just cut and paste and give you a copy. Um, Evening tomorrow at 6, or am I misreading? Yeah, so we're gonna try evenings soon, you guys. But for you guys, it'll be late because I think you're on the East Coast and I'm in Hawaii. So yeah. Okay. Tomorrow at 7 a.m. Yeah. Okay. Tomorrow at 7 a.m. There we go. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, guys. I appreciate all of you and send out love to all you guys. Love, love, love to you guys. Thank you for being here. And we're gonna let go of our international stream right now. The guys that are making noise on my chat over here. So lots of love and aloha from Hawaii.